Hello, hello, hello. I am your host OCL, and welcome back to One Century Later. Today we'll be taking a look at all events from April 25th to May 1st, 1926. As with last week, all of my sources are in the description down below. Sunday, April 25th, 1926. Reza Khan was crowned as the Shah of Persia after overthrowing King Ahmad Shah Qajar in December 1925, with his son Mohammad Reza Pahlavi named as the crown prince. Monday, April 26th, 1926. The Madras University Act of 1926 was given royal assent by India's Governor-General, Edward Wood, on behalf of King George V, creating the Andhra University in Visakhapatnam, British India. The university today is one of the largest higher learning institutions in India. Also on this day, the Karachay and Cherkess autonomous oblasts were created in the Soviet Union through the dissolution of the Karachay-Cherkess Autonomous Oblast. In 1957, the two oblasts merged together again, recreating the Karachay-Cherkess Autonomous Oblast. Also on this day, the British Chancellor of the Exchequer, Winston Churchill, delivered the budget of Prime Minister Stanley Baldwin's government. The previous year's deficit was reported at £7.9 million, and a 5% tax on debts was imposed beginning on November 1st to help alleviate this deficit. Additionally, duties were recommended to be imposed on motor vehicles able to carry at least 40 passengers. Tuesday, April 27th, 1926. The Japanese crab fishing steamer Chichibu Maru ran aground and broke apart during a hurricane near Oromushiro in the Kuril Islands, today part of Russia. Of the 26 crew and 233 fishermen on board, 99 were rescued and 150 were missing presumed dead. Also on this day, the carjacking trial for Richard Reese Whitmore ended in a mistrial by hung jury. On October 29, 1925, the Whitmore gang hijacked a car in Buffalo, New York, and stole $93,000 from the truck, killing 2 guards and injuring 1 other. And lastly on this day, a shootout occurred between the Chicago Outfit Gang and the rival O'Donnell Gang. James Doherty and Thomas Duffy of the O'Donnell Gang were shot and killed in their car by Al Capone and Jack McBurn of the Chicago Outfit Gang. Assistant State's Attorney William McSwiggan was also in the car at the time and was killed in the gunfire. Doherty and McSwiggan were shot 17 times each and killed instantly. Duffy was taken to the hospital where he died from his wounds. Wednesday, April 28, 1926. The Klein-Gordon equation, also known as the Klein-Fock-Gordon equation, was first published in the German physics paper Zeitschrift für Physik. The equation was independently discovered by physicist Oskar Klein on April 28th, Walter Gordon on July 30th, and Vladimir Fock on September 29th, whose name is sometimes added to the equation. The equation is a quantum mechanics-based relativistic wave equation derived from Schrödinger's equation. Also on this day, police in Tampa, Florida responded to the murder of Emma Hillard, who witnesses said was decapitated by Charles Manuel. The drunk Charles Manuel was taken into custody without memories of committing the murder, but believing in the eyewitness testimonies that he did. Whether or not Manuel committed the crime is unknown. However, while he was in prison awaiting trial, other people were murdered in similar fashions, which we will get to on June 28th. And lastly on this day, American author Harper Lee, best known for her 1960 novel To Kill a Mockingbird, was born in Monroeville, Alabama. Lee died in February 2016 at the age of 89. Thursday, April 29, 1926. Riffian rebels in Morocco rejected a peace proposal from France and Spain, specifically rejecting the condition that the leader of the rebels, Abd el-Krim, go into exile. Also on this day, the Mellon-Berenger Agreement was signed between the U.S. and France. The agreement, named after Andrew Mellon, the U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, and Henry Berenger, the French ambassador to the United States, waived much of the World War I debt France owed the U.S. and gave France a plan to pay off the rest. The agreement was not ratified in France until 1929, and with the Great Depression shortly after, little of the debt was paid off. Friday, April 30th, 1926. American pilot Bessie Coleman was killed in a plane crash along with her passenger William D. Willis when her Curtiss JN-4 biplane fell into an uncontrolled dive from 3,000 feet during a Jacksonville, Florida air show. Coleman fell out of the plane and fell 2,000 feet to her death, with Willis dying when the plane crashed shortly after. Inspectors later determined that a wrench used to service the engine had jammed the plane's controls, causing the uncontrolled dive. Saturday, May 1st, 1926. 5 people died and 40 were injured in Poland after fighting between socialists and communists during May Day parties in Warsaw, Poland. A coal miner strike began in Wales when 800,000 miners refused to work in response to the Samuel Commission's recommendation of 13.5% less wages, a withdrawal of government subsidies, and temporarily longer working days. At the same time, negotiations began between the General Council of the Trades Union Congress and the British government in an attempt to end the strike. And lastly, the Ford Motor Company became the first American company to use the 40-hour work week schedule after previously reducing the work shifts to 8 hours 6 days a week, more than doubling pay compared to competitors. This reduction in work days did not come with a reduction in pay, with Henry Ford stating the new work schedule would be 5 days work with 6 days pay. And that is all. See you next week for all events from Sunday, May 2nd, 1926, to Saturday, May 8th, 1926. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.